have him discuss with us Suse Linux. I don't know if you've had that in your background, but some of you may be needing it in your job this next quarter. We need those profits to raise, you know, so let's get busy and get those computers working, and this might be the new solution for our company. So let's listen attentively and make sure that if you have some questions, you are free to ask at the end of his presentation. So, Mr. Okpo, we're happy to have you here. Please carry on.
Hey everyone, I picked OpenSUSE Linux. It's a free operating system based on the Linux kernel, and I actually kind of like it. But I've only been using it for a couple weeks or so, and I'm actually really enjoying it. So let's see how it started. So it was started in Germany by Gesellschaft für Software und Entwicklung, which means LIT, Company for Software and System Development, and it was founded in 1992 in Germany. The people who founded the company were Roland Dryoff, Thomas Furr, Richard Steinblind, and Herbert Mantel. Three of them were mathematics students in colleges, and then one of them, Furr, had graduated already and was working as a software engineer. And when three friends get together, they're like, hey, let's have a good idea. So the company's main objective was to develop software and function as an adversary to the Unix group. So as Unix was becoming popular in the late 80s and 90s, they decided, hey, well, we can help people out with manuals and stuff. And so that's what they were doing. They printed Unix and Linux manuals, and they also released software packages for soft landing Linux systems and Slackware, which is before we had GUIs and stuff, so it was all command line based. Their name means software and system development, and their current mascot is Gigo the Chameleon. So in the 90s, so in 1994, Patrick Volkerding and Patrick McDonald, two Patricks, it's pretty cool, created soft landing Linux system, and then they created SUSE Linux 1.0 distribution. So it was like the first Linux-based kernel of SUSE in 1994. They were first made to use floppy disks, so on floppy disks were things when they're really small and kind of not very fun to use because they don't hold much information. And then they moved to CDs when CDs were able to hold more information. Florian LaRoche joined the SUSE team and began to create YAST, installing configuration tool, which I'll talk about later. But it's definitely a tool that helps to monitor everything that the operating system can handle. So packages, network, system, hardware, and network. Oh, and security. And then they became the largest Linux distributor in Germany at the time. So since there wasn't many software Linux companies in Germany, they were known as the largest. And then they were established, so in 1997, SUSE LLC was established by President and Managing Partner James Gray in Oakland, California. So continuing development, Novel Inc. created OpenSUSE after purchasing SUSE AG for $2.1 million on 11/04/2003. The attachment group, which is like the big, they hold money for a lot of different companies, and since, Nova was going under at the time, they decided to acquire Nova and split SUSE and Nova into two autonomous subsidiary companies in November of 2014 after the attachment group merged with Micro Focus. Micro Focus is just another larger funds holding company. And then in 7/4/18, EQT partners purchased SUSE for 2.5 billion USDs.
What's the USD?
Like US currency.
No.
So instead of like the pound or what other countries use for currency, that's how much it is in US money.
I see.
So then I'm going to talk about the company that purchased SUSE. Software and service company in Utah. Most famous product was the multi-platform network operating system known as mobile networks. Those computers were becoming more interconnected in the 80s and 90s. They were one of the largest companies that had a connected network that connects clients and servers using their network program. Became the dominant form of personal computing network during the late 80s and 90s. They contributed to local area networks. They had a decline after trying to compete with Windows, and that's when they bought Suse Linux to refocus their technology base. So as Windows was becoming way more popular and a lot easier to use, and NetWare wasn't as easy to use because they were trying to compete with Windows, and Windows kept acquiring more programs and things that would help them become an easier operating system. They're like, well, Linux is easier to use, and they're like, well, Suse seems like a good project, and like, well, we need something to try and keep our company afloat, so that's when they bought them. And then in November 3rd, 2006, Noble signed an agreement with Windows for Suse to operate with Microsoft Windows, and then that agreement was renewed in 7/25/11. Then they merged with Micro Focus International in 2014. So they used an IPX network protocol, which interconnects the networks that use the Novell NetWare client and server system. Built on the first Novell server using the Motorola 6800 processor, it was a 16 by 32-bit microprocessor for smaller computers. 1983 supported clients using the CP/M and MS-DOS operating systems. The final release version was 6.5 SP8 in May 2009. And then it could also be run on Intel-based IBM PC-compatible systems and a wide variety of network cards. And then 2010, they had general support. Then 5 years later, they extended it, and then self-support till 2017. But now it's discontinued, no one really uses it anymore. And then was replaced with OES, Open Enterprise Server. OpenSUSE Linux Enterprise Server, it's used for business class IT services in physical, virtual, or cloud-based systems. So Nova wanted to become more versatile, so this was introduced in 2001 before Nova was purchased. Designed for servers, mainframes, and workstations. SLES 9 was released in August of 2004. Service Pack 4 was released in December of 2007. As you can see, a lot of the service packs were like 4 years apart or 2 years apart because things get updated as the years go on. And the new release version is SLES 15, was released on July 16, 2018. So it's still being used and run by businesses who think it's a good idea, because Linux is definitely helpful because it's free and there's a lot of software packages, and you don't have to like pay Windows like a certain amount of money to have all of your computers connected. Special features. So one thing that I found with OpenSUSE is that there's this thing called KDE Connect, and you can dock your phone using KDE Connect. You can pause music, answer, reply to messages on your computer, and you can see notifications on your phone. So without having to look at your phone, it will just pop up on the screen like, hey, this person messaged you or this person is trying to call you. And unfortunately, they don't have a iOS support yet, but I'm assuming it'll probably come at a certain point, but it's definitely meant for Android devices. Another thing I like is that they incorporate with OpenSUSE is Open Build Service. So it's a building tool, building all of our packages for SUSE, Arch, Debian, Fedora, CentOS, Ubuntu, and more. So it's like you can pretty much create software packages for other Unix and Linux systems. Then OpenQ&A is an automated testing operating system for any operating system. So instead of having to like monitor it like automatically with your own eyes and manually do it, it'll do it for you, and it'll like give you like a bar graph of what it looks like. And then YAST is the repository that holds information and configuration for OpenSUSE. I definitely like it. It's a lot easier to use. It's kind of like Windows control panel, but it's their own spin on it. And Kiwi, it creates Linux images for deployment, so you can create like a virtual, either for virtual hardware or like any specific like hardware computer that you want to use, and you can just put it on the USB, and then to that computer plug it in, and it'll start running. So here's YAST. It's a Linux operating system setup and configuration tool. Manages devices, hardware, network, memory, security. Contains both GUI and text-based user interfaces. So if you prefer one or the other, you can have that option. The only thing that I found is to add a USB wireless interface, the user must set it up themselves. So instead of just plugging it in the computer, finding the drivers for it, you have to actually go into the settings and click through all the options that you need, and then it'll run. Dolphin. Dolphin is the file manager, so it's kind of like Windows File Explorer, but it's a lot different. I think it's slightly easier to use, but it can be a little hard for the first time users. It will list available devices, which means like all in Linux, that's devices that are mounted. So if you have like an external hard drive or anything that has memory on it that you need to plug in. And then to make any connected devices instantly available must be automatically mounted in KDE that is responsibility of the device notifier. So when you plug it in, there'll be a little screen that pops up saying that, oh, this device is ready, or that this device is connected on your computer. And then what powers the packet manager in YAST is zip. Is the command line interface used to install, remove, update, and query software packages of local and remote network media. So you can go on the internet if your computer's connected, and you'll just type in the package name that you want, and you can go through the repository instead of having to like do it yourself. Go on the internet, download it, and then install it. It'll do it for you. So there's two versions. Tumbleweed is a rolling release, and then Leap 15.0, which is the one that I downloaded, is a static release, and it's much more stable, I'd say, because every update comes within like 6 months or shorter, depending on how long it takes them to update the system. So here's the three versions. So you can either get a DVD or pretty much like a CD version, and it's 4.7 gigabytes. You can do a network image. So what you do is you install it on a USB stick, plug it into your computer that doesn't have an operating system or has an operating system on it, and you go through all the steps to make sure that it'll run this, and then it'll just connect to their server. They'll download the operating system for you instead of you having to click through all of the steps to get through it. And then there's a cubic image, so it's for Kubernetes, the top OpenSUSE and MicroOS. So it's just another version that you can download. Then with Leap, you have DVD and network, and then you have all the ones for all the hypervisors that you can download. So KVM, XEN, Microsoft HyperOS or Hypervisor, OpenStack Cloud, and then VMware. And they're all really small, so they won't take up much space. So here's the installation. I didn't get like an actual image of it, but it's pretty much the same with every computer. So what you have to do is go into your BIOS. This is the first screen that you will see. Then the next step, you go into BIOS features and you'll click on boot options, and you'll click on the USB that's installed, which holds the operating system. What you do is you click that one to the very first one, and then once you click on that, you save changes, and it'll go through the process, and then you just type in all your information that's needed to get it running. So here's the software requirements. So Pentium 4.4, 1.6 gigahertz or higher processor, or they really want you to have 2 gigahertz or higher, or an AMD 64 and Intel 64 processor recommended, just so it runs a lot faster and you don't have any real hiccups. It only uses 1 gigabyte of physical RAM, which really is pretty tiny considering a lot of operating systems use a lot more than that. But they really want you to have 2, just so everything runs a lot faster. Hard disk space, you only need 3 gigabytes space available and 5 for a graphical desktop. So if you just want it to have without the GUI, it only takes 3 gigabytes, but if you obviously want to use it with the GUI, you need 5, which really isn't that bad. And then it supports most newer sound cards and graphics cards. Booting from a DVD drive or USB stick for installation. Support for booting over network. You need to set up PXE by yourself, or also look at PXE boot installation or an existing installation of OpenSUSE. And then for more information on installation without using a CD. So the graphical interfaces. So it uses GNOME, KDE Plasma, which is the newest version, Cinnamon, Enlightenment, Monte, LXDE, and Xfix. I really like Plasma. It's kind of like a Windows 10 theme, but it's not Windows 10. There's a little more like options and selections that you can pick to make it more like user friendly. Here are some commands: find your IP address, route, find your gateway, PC, LS, PCI list, PCI devices, LS USB list USB devices, and then free is how much memory is being used. And here are some basic Linux commands that we all like to use and forget sometimes. And here are my sources. User-friendly and free, which is why I like it, and I think why a lot of businesses are going to use it, because you don't have to pay the Microsoft activation key for every computer that you use. And so now we'll get to my operating system. So obviously I like cars a lot, so I decided to go on the internet and download a wallpaper. So this is just, you can pick any wallpaper, or you can go on their actual like configurator, so I'll go here. And you can like move all this stuff, which is kind of cool. You can like lock widgets, you can add widgets, which is really cool. So,
Are we looking at the plasma interface?
yep, this is all KDE Plasma. So you have different widgets that you can have on your screen, your desktop. So you can have activities, you can have the activity bar with switches, and there's just a whole bunch that you probably already, like some you use, some you wouldn't, and then Bluetooth statuses, like that. Then here's how you configure your desktop. So you can either pick the 3 standard wallpapers, or you can click get new wallpaper. But I can't. So you click get new wallpaper, it'll go to the internet, and you can pick from selective categories, so like plants, animals, rocks, whatever your heart is content. And then you can set up your mouse, so you can say like which buttons on your mouse. If you have more than like a couple buttons on your mouse, you can set up which buttons. Then here are the tweaks, which is like show desktop toolbox, and then hold them. So like pretty much if you have widgets and stuff, you can like move them easier or not, just have them in that same spot. And here's how you know that devices are connected. So this is the device notifier. So if I were to have my USB installed, it won't show up in here, it'll, like, the device notifier won't show up, but if I were to remove it. So now that's removed, it won't show up, but once I put it back in. The device notifier shows up what the USB is and what it's called. And then there's 3 actions, so you can open with File Manager, which is Dolphin, download photos with Ejike, which is kind of like Windows Photos. And then the other one is Photo Viewer, or Gwen View, which is kind of like Photo Viewer. So this is what Dolphin looks like. So it's kind of like Windows File Explorer theme. So you have Home, which is like the home screen. It'll show you all the desktop. So you can go to Bin. I don't have anything in there. Desktop, if I had anything saved on there. Trash can. Documents, downloads, music. So pretty much like a Windows Explorer theme, but it's its own thing. There's more options up top. So you can have network. So if you've downloaded anything from the internet, it'll show up here. Or if you want to save a network file, it'll show up in here. Root, so pretty much like the root person, the user's files would be in here, or this is like where the operating system files are saved. And then trash, I don't have anything deleted, so, which is good. Because deleting things tends to lead to bad grades. Alright, and then we'll show you recently saved, so like today, yesterday, this month, and last month. It'll show you all the things that have been saved and modified. So if you need to go to a specific day, instead of having to scroll through, it'll tell you, it'll show up on the side. And obviously you have documents, images, I have an image saved, audio files, and then videos. And then down here is all your devices. So it's showing me my hard drive and my USB. So here is console. So it's like the terminal, but it's console because it's KDE. I'll show you some commands. Can you all see that?
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have to be in root to use this one. This is one. So here's all the USB devices that are connected on this computer. Minus that a little bit.
So what did you do at the top? You went into root or you,
I tried to go into root, but it says root wasn't found for some reason.
Like, do you have sudo installed on this?
I should.
Yeah, try that out. Try sudo, what command were you trying to do before?
I was trying to show my PCI devices.
Do sudo.
You had it on your command list in your PowerPoint.
Yeah, do sudo and then that command. There you go.
There you go.
So it shows you all the PCI controllers that are installed on the operating system. If you ever need to know which ones, and make sure you have the drivers installed. And then free shows you how much memory is being consumed. So it's really not too bad. Just have a lot of room left to be used on this. There's my home directory. And that's pretty much it. And to, oh, well, here's the ask. So it's kind of like the control panel, but it's like, it's, I think, slightly easier to use, and everything's like, you don't have to click in the one tab, in the one tab, in the one tab, it's all like right in front of you. And for me to set up wireless internet, because I couldn't use the Ethernet because the school, like, have to connect differently, go to network settings. And for you to manage it yourself, you have to click on Network Manager Service instead of Wicked Service. Wicked Service is where OpenSUSE will like control it for you, so all you have to do is just plug it in, you know, you have to go in and so if I were to do okay, it'll save it automatically.
So it's just running through a activation, is that what it's doing?
Yeah, it's saving the file so that when it opens, it just goes through. It takes a little bit.
There.
So if I click on it again, it'll tell me all of the information. So Ethernet port and then the Ethernet controller, both of these are working. And you can see at the bottom, it doesn't show my, like, the wireless, like, saying that's connected. But if you want to do that, you just go back to here, click this, click OK, and click OK, and save it for you. And then it'll show up at the bottom.
And are you able to get the internet from that?
I'm trying, but I can't seem to connect to the private network. I type in the password. Saying it's the
I thought it was an old password for new that password.
Capital N, capital L.
oh, capital N, capital N.
Yep. And then the regular password. That's what I thought it was anyway.
Can you connect to HLGs?
Yeah, does that show up for you?
Yeah, I can connect to the school. And it shows me all the lists. If I will connect, I have to.
I hate doing school's Wi-Fi. From this, it may not work,
Yeah, maybe.
because you have to set up the right authentication and security type, which I think Joel knows.
It's PEA.
Oh, so it's already there. Okay, then it might just
You
work.
shouldn't have a certificate, and you shouldn't have to type the domain name, you should have to just type in your anonymous ID, your ID, and your password.
KDE wallets. Wallet services?
Yeah, are you on the,
Are you ever
is it opening the right thing?
I don't think so.
wallet services?
I don't think you want wallet services, I think, do you?
Well, what I suggested is that sometimes it doesn't let you connect until you actually have your network drivers updated. So you might have to go in and update the network drivers.
Are you on the network called
But-
private, or are you on the network called HLD?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I would go to for that.
It's saying I'm typing the password wrong,
You got this working, I remember.
but yeah, I had it working.
Mhm.
What web browsers does this use?
You can have Firefox, but you can also install like other ones like Chrome. and
You can use
everything. Yeah, but I'm a Firefox person, so I just can't use it.
There you go. Firefox is good.
And one thing I like about Open, it comes with a lot of like things already installed, so you don't have to like go and install everything. So there's utilities, there's the system, controls, there's settings, there's Office. So it uses LibreOffice, and it's kind of like Windows, but it's free. I like free because I'm a college student.
Free is good.
Free is good.
That's really
Multimedia, so like Dragon Player is like for videos, and then K3B is for music. Then there's your internet settings, there's your graphics, so like photos, Ink is like a photo editor. It comes with some games
He has.
installed, so like board games, card games, like logical games, so you can play by.
So like mine's, yeah, mine's
Haven't played that in a while.
Oh.
I never understood how to actually beat this game.
No, the numbers signify how many
mine's
bombs each panel is touching.
Yeah,
Whether it
this is
be
just
crisscross or diagonal.
so that one right there is a bomb.
Oh.
That's what.
Yeah, that one's a bomb. And that one is
That one
also
is-
a bomb.
that one may
Well,
not be.
it may not be, but there's a
Probably
higher
not.
chance, because it, well, one, because, oh yeah, then that one's definitely a bomb. In that corner.
So the higher the number, the higher the risk.
It's a risk.
Risk is relative.
Well, anyway.
You know,
There are only
that's
a
the
few
first time I've actually learned how to play that
There are only a
game.
few situations
I
where
just
you
thought it was
actually have
all
to rely on
chance.
No, there's only
What
a
did you
few
learn today in
situations
class? How to
where.
play Minecraft?
I'll play Minesweeper.
You're all welcome. There's my speech.
What did you say?
I said you're all welcome, there's my speech.
Wrong.
No.
It really shouldn't ask you for your password.
Yeah, it is.
What, HLG shouldn't
Yeah,
have to put a password? Yeah, it should.
Oh,
It always does.
I mean, usually mine, whenever I put it in once, it always.
Well,
That's
it
because you
says,
told us to remember it, yeah.
this one has never been connected to the HLG one before.
Oh.
It's just
You
been-
better ask before your password.
Well, yeah,
Well,
I-
it says it's security.
It does, but it's
Ah,
like,
connected.
If password, don't.
If password, ugly said.
That's a meme.
Yeah.
Sick.
yeah, Joel's not.
Make the stuff happen. It could be just your connection's not really good.
That's how you
Oh, never mind. No, never mind.
That's how
I'll
it works.
open it,
Actually, that's not it.
It's just really weak,
Yeah.
like extremely weak.
Practice at Aruba is not working.
I told them,
Oh,
I can't help it.
Well, anyway, that's okay.
And I'll show you my other user.
Can you get Steam?
Hey, you have two guys.
I would assume so.
Yeah, you can get.
Does OpenSUSE have a
get
software
Steam.
center?
Yeah, it should.
Yeah, there's
Why are you doing the chala?
The Black Panther.
And he has the power of the best.
So now you are logging in as a new user?
Yes.
But they uber long password.
I'll second.
Dear Lord.
Hey, you remember
Oh my goodness, why?
passphrase.
You know, I actually tried A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but then like skip one.
Is it?
Noel. Just remember Noel. There's no L in this.
The first Joe.
No.
The king of what lesson?
Miss Tona's on the camera now she's gonna listen to it over and over.
Black Panther is awesome, 18 from
That
2008.
should work.
T'Challa, the Black Panther.
So really the Black Panther is
Probably
awesome.
what it is.
Hey, you
Should've kept the passwords
you
simple.
might have to do the same thing that I had to do.
This is the
Ew.
longest password in the world.
Is it one machine rocks all caps?
No.
Yeah, it's an Iron Man 2.
I got it.
Wait, what?
That's my other
It's an
engineer.
Iron Man 2
I have to go all.
Just log back into your other one and change the password to it.
Yeah, because
Oh, you-
Nathan learned that lesson, didn't you?
Yeah.
You kept your normal one simple.
It's a chameleon in a light bulb, guy.
Is it
That is
really a
animal
chameleon or is it a gecko?
It's two
Neon
things.
Smith.
Just chameleon.
It's a male chameleon, or they call it ego.
It looks good.
Why is he?
I thought it was a gecko.
That's what I thought.
I thought it was Pico the gecko.
Yeah.
He's got a gecko.
The Kiko?
They can go
Just
further.
like
The Kiko, the
roll
Kiko.
and join slash file.
Let's see.
Gecko from Fallout New Vegas.
Aliens are cute.
They are adorable.
No.
Little lucky one. What did you
Like
say?
a tiny mouth.
What? Have you seen them try to lick something? Or what?
That's taking forever.
You have to get them desensitized.
Well, this
Otherwise they
computer
can
is really slow.
I know.
Yeah, the one he had it on was really
I mean,
fast.
it is a bank machine. It's been around a while.
So I have Gen 2 on it.
How's your last one working?
Well, Gen 2 is
Oh,
very
yes, it
light
is.
compared
They
to
cleaned-
this.
Cody took it off the back and took some dust out of the fan and it was working
I
great.
also have mint on it.
Good.
So,
Well, I have another
But
big
yeah,
one.
Mint is
But I
extremely
was
light.
surprised
This
because
is
the
a
bottom
really
bottom
good
does not look that dusty.
Something hard
Wait,
about
what?
it.
I don't know, we pulled it out and ever since and it's.
Real question is, are you gonna get a new one?
Fix a
Yep.
computer, you put mint on it.
I have, I think I'm going cyber power. I haven't
it actually
decided,
is a
I'm
good
waiting for the
one.
sale this week. I don't know if I really want to spend that much money though.
Yeah.
Wade
Give you
convinced
some
me that
chance
might be the plan to go on.
After all that money you make here.
It's in the desktop, it's extremely lightweight.
Teaching
So
us.
this still looks fast.
I don't make near enough for that job.
Aw.
They don't pay me near enough for this job.
No, listen to you.
What are we watching here, AG? I'm confused.
Paint
That's
dry?
the loading
A
screen.
really long loading.
Oh my
screen.
goodness.
This computer.
Well, I thought all it needed was a couple gigs of RAM.
Yeah, but it's
Boing.
not my fault. It's- The process is really old and slow.
Oh, come on. That thing's,
Uh,
that's got lots of life left in it.
It'll last a few more years.
I think you're losing control of your crowd here.
Actually,
They're heckled.
You were getting bored.
Oh, shall we go on to the
They're heckling.
Well, you listen?
you guys answer your sheet.
Yes, sir. We did answer our sheet.
Let's go over those ways.
I didn't know.
I'll fill mine out now.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Wait a minute.
Question number
Did you pay for this operating system easy?
Did you have to pay for it?
Yeah, yeah, so did you pay for it?
No.
Okay. I really like that SpongeBob. Maybe it's a little bit. We have- Sorry. We have, no, nothing's working. We have. Just
Are you okay, Brian?
It didn't
You
work.
remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
It's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a dollar.
That's would be a dollar that got paid for, right?
First dollar. Me first dollar.
Which means.
It went, is it from on the wall?
Like, what are you doing? Oh, you know, just hanging around.
Hey, this is
Boing.
Boing. Boing. Boing. Boing. Boing.
Stop.
Boing. 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 Boing.
This is gonna be in the video.
Boing. Boing. Boing.
This is gonna be the one Mrs. Todd shows everyone.
Yes, this one on
That is
YouTube.
the example
We're
of
gonna
what
cut out
not
the
to
boing,
do.
boing, boing part.
So
gonna
Brian, in the
feature that.
future, I'm talking to you now. This is a word from your future senior. Around here.
Future senior.
Did you wanna go over your questions, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hooray! Mazel tov.
He's not married.
Oh, that's true.
See if we get stuck.
Neons.
Yeah, I've seen this before.
We still don't answer that question. Like, you know, like,
Edison's dog.
it's like the elephant.
Update error.
Rich windows.
Back up, hooray.
Anything. Anything.
What?
Anything.
Alright.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey, Lee Brown, this is the way.
Let's go over the questions. What did you guys answer for question 1?
True.
What's the answer to question 2?
Hey,
Hey, dolphin.
you like A.
What's question 3?
Well,
A.
true, yeah.
Hey.
To a certain degree, yeah.
False.
Yeah.
Everyone's.
Can you buy OpenSUSE in a package and have it shipped to your residence?
No.
Yes.
Of course you can.
In Europe, you can, but not
In
here.
Europe you can, but they don't have an English
You didn't
version.
specify.
It's only in
You
German.
didn't specify.
You didn't say here or there.
You don't have to be able to read it, you're just gonna be able to get it shipped to you.
Yeah.
So which GUI comes pre-installed in OpenSUSE?
Hey, plasma, what is it?
Who created OpenSUSE?
Gesellschaft wird Software und Entwicklung in MBH. I'm normally better at pronouncing.
How much main memory does OpenSUSE use?
1 gig.
Goodbye.
Which version of OpenSUSE is being used in this presentation?
Lead
15 period 0.
Is there a server version of OpenSUSE?
True, there is.
And what command lists all the USB devices attached?
LSUSB.
Listen. Listen.
Good job, Suse.
That's pretty much it.
Question.
Questions?
Why is there a gecko on my phone?
That's, so what I read was they just decided, like, they wanted a mascot, and they asked the public, and the public was like, we want a chameleon, and then they needed a name
Gecko.
for it. But gecko was already taken, so they're like, Gecko works, so that's pretty much what they got there.
You mentioned that the phone features, that was one of the things you highlighted early on. Were you saying that you carry an iPhone and therefore you could not
Yes,
test it?
since I have an iPhone, I cannot use KD Connect. So how to do it is,
Can one of us, like, download the app on our phone?
yeah, so, no devices, so you can add devices, but since I have an iPhone, I can't download the Android app.
So
'cause I
you didn't have
can't
anyone
store it.
test it for you
No.
as a highlighted feature? Okay. I think
But if-
Nathan's volunteering.
Do you know
I'll
if
download
you, yeah, the KD Connect Android app? You can probably do it.
Here it is. You can.
You already have it, Nathan?
It's only 3 megabyte, look at that.
Yeah.
What network are you connected to currently?
I'm connected to,
I'm connected to private.
I'm Wade.
so I'm connected to the.
Jen, I know.
There's not enough stronger signal, and for some reason I can't connect to the other two. but I know it works.
Do you get a preference?
Maybe the age
Well-
of the antenna that you're using or something.
Yeah,
Actually,
well,
go into your-
that
go into your
antenna
terminal,
was kind
go
of
into your
commandeered, it
console,
wasn't made for that
And
car.
find your IP address.
So it works, but again, it kind of doesn't at the same time.
No.
Because we couldn't really find a wireless card that had an antenna with it, and so we kind of had to convert.
That's because it's in my computer, because the internet was out here for a weekend.
So you have the Wi-Fi?
Yep, so I have a Wi-Fi on my computer.
Okay, I was wondering who took that antenna.
Pseudo IP.
It was on
Or I-
Okay, are you guys are you still working on that?
Yeah, I'm trying to get his IP address.
Oh.
Slowly but surely.
Are you looking for how to find your IP address?
Yeah, finding the ARP table in PF Sense takes forever to load, so. Or you could just go into his terminal and type in ifconfig.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
do
you
that,
do. is
I have config.
Yeah, as soon as a window.
Or iwconfig would also work as well.
Hey, there you go.
Alright, so what is your IP address?
Done, done.
Make it larger.
I don't think
It's the internet.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Oh, yeah, because you're not on the internet.
So we can't test that.
Okay.
Mission failed.
So I downloaded this app for nothing.
Any other
I thought
questions?
you said you were connected.
We are, yeah, we are.
I am, but it's not enough.
It's like,
You can read it, but
it's like he connected, but yet he's not connecting to the DHCP server to get an IP address.
Well, what you
If you're
should do then
connected
is
to
type
public,
in
it should be already.
ifconfig space inet space, then type his IP address in.
Or you can do that, or do the archway of doing it.
Or it could just do DHCP.
Yeah, DHCPD, and then use your internet, Ethernet port, but I don't know how to look that up on Suse though. On archway.
Okay, well, obviously that's not gonna work right now. You mentioned that there was another network protocol way back in Novell's time called IPX.
Yes.
Um,
So.
Do you know what its purpose was?
It's pretty much like the connection between all the clients and servers that used NetWare at the time. So that's pretty much what it said. It wasn't like anything special, just like their own way of connecting their clients and servers together.
You are right, it's just another protocol, and Apple used to have their own, IPX was Novell's. There are more than one, but now everybody has bled to become TCP/IP to make the World Wide Web, but it was just another protocol. Talk to me again, the whole class, what's the difference when we say, oh, this is a rolling release, this is a stable release?
So rolling is like, it has all the updates at that time, and then whenever a new one is like sent out, it'll update it, versus leap, which is kind of like, it has all the updates now, and then when a newer update gets updated, you just like click on it through, so you can go to here, and it'll say
How would you
software
update it?
updates, and it'll tell you how many, like when it was checked for it, and it would give you all the updates, and you just click update, versus having to like wait a longer period of time.
So rolling does what?
Rolling is like, it has the update, and then as more updates come out, it will update versus the stable one, which is has all the updates currently.
Yeah, so,
I think I hear what you're saying, I'm just looking for a more distinct definition, I think.
For rolling release?
yeah, a rolling release is just, as soon as an update comes out, it'll be implemented. And that comes for your packages as well as your base system. However, static release, only your base packages of your operating system will not be updated until the next major release. And if you want to update, and you can still update your other packages, but you have to do it manually.
Right, that's really what I'm listening for, is the word manual versus kind of automated, right?
It's like, it's slowing down, update forever.
Yeah, there you go.
Windows.
There you go, man, there you go.
Okay, I don't think I have any more real questions other than I was thinking you were liking Suse, but it had an awfully long restart time. You said that's probably the machine,
Yeah,
but,
it's not the operating system itself, it's just machines kind of on the older side, and I use Nathan's machine and boot up right away. It's just the processor in this is a little older.
As someone who has
Pretty
used
sure
it
it's
for his main
solid.
system for a long time, It is actually really, really smooth and good.
Wait, why
Oh.
didn't you just stick to my machine then? Why'd you switch?
Because your machine didn't have a, so that wireless card doesn't have a, it's not PCI Express, it's a standard, a PCI 4, but not Express Lane. So it needed one of those, and the only one that had it was, and the only older machine that had it was that bank machine.
Your machine was too good, Nathan.
Yeah, it was
Because,
too good for us to connect wireless.
And if I was using it in the lab, that would be fine, but since I'm in here, I kinda need to connect wirelessly, so I didn't.
Did you try to connect in here with this
USB
cable?
one didn't work.
Yeah, I just plugged it,
We tried. It was,
but it's not suited to.
Yeah, the ports are set to block stuff, right?
Yeah, but if you take it from the computer.
Well, it may be done on the switch side though, as soon as it changes and recognizes a different machine. It may not be.
Otherwise, you know.
Okay, was this your really original operating system?
No. The operating system I had chosen before was TrueOS.
tell us the
and
story.
I had issues with that.
We all.
So,
Yeah, what kind of issues?
so I downloaded the stable version, and I downloaded it on my lab computer, and for some reason, it'll go through the install, but then like, it'll just get stuck in installation, but now it just gets stuck, it'll like load, but not load, and then it'll quit itself, and then I'll keep trying, so I don't really know what's going on, like, I don't know which files to, like, delete to make sure it just runs through, and I've looked online, and there really isn't any information on how to fix it.
Yeah, and it was a really painful process. Now the server version, which is literally not TrueOS, but just FreeBSD, but they call it TrueOS, that one worked, through the terminal and installing like the server version of just FreeBSD, but the TrueOS with the GUI, it failed every single time that we tried.
Okay, I was just thinking you were gonna show us your virtual machine on that, so.
Yeah, I couldn't get it.
It never worked.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm not saying this to be sarcastic, I'm not, but mine is working because there's TrueOS right there on my virtual machine, server version. But you may have tried further, I don't know where you went, but, yes, sir?
Well, I was gonna say because the server version doesn't use the GUI,
Right.
and so it's just FreeBSD at that point. And FreeBSD will install in VirtualBox, and I've had no problems. But whenever we try to use TrueOS, the desktop version, which is what most people use, it never worked with the Lumina desktop.
Now, I already know the answer to this, I know you two have been working together quite a bit, but what part of this, I mean, you're answering an awful lot of his questions today, so how much did you two work together on this, I guess is the question.
I helped him with TrueOS, trying to get that to work, and then I recommended OpenSUSE because it's a really cool operating system. Because he's kind of like we're having problems, and that was the only one that I know that anyone else had taken up. And then we tried it live, and he really loved it.
But I've been trying since school started to like get TrueOS to work, and it just wouldn't download properly.
Yeah, he had them. He went to me for help once.
Pardon me?
He went to me for help at a couple points.
No, I'm not implying anything, I'm just saying, Brian's answering a lot of questions for
just told me,
AG
like-
right now, and said, we did this and we did this, and I know that that happens in the lab, I'm not,
Towards the, like, it was past me, but like before that, I was like trying to do this on my own, going through all their like, repositories where people like answer questions and stuff, and nothing like gave me any like updates on like, hey, if this is gonna be fixed or not, so I was like, well, I didn't know what to do.
well, you did do one right thing, you moved on with something to have a presentation, right? That's one lesson to be learned in life, you'd like to answer the boss's question, so to speak, but sometimes when you can have an alternate route, you need to go ahead and take the initiative and have the alternate route ready as well. So to that, we applaud you for moving on and not falling to pieces and having a demonstration to show it obviously is working in spite of some bumps. We know bumps are part of our environment. If you think you can work in our field and not have bumps, you're in the wrong you're in the wrong field, right? Okay, anybody else have any questions for them today? All